Today we're going to go over a simple modification to add a ram mount for the electronic component of your choice in a location that I'm guessing most vehicles have. Coming up. Yeah! My name's Drew, and this is Evergreen Overland. On this channel, we do reviews on camping and overland gear. We hone our outdoor cooking skills and techniques, and we showcase 4x4 and off-road vehicle modifications like the one we're going to talk about today. Going on either short weekend or even long-term trips in a vehicle, it doesn't really change the fact that you're going to want to stay organized. I like my electronics to be the same way, organized, always know where they are so that whenever I need to use them for whatever application they have, I know where to reach every time. Today, we're going to go through a quick mod replacing one of the two factory bolts that attach the grab handle to the A-pillar in the cab of my truck. The A-pillar is the structural frame location that you'll find between your driver's side door and your front window. A new bolt accompanied by a ram mount ball to maximize my space in the cab by adding a ram mount in there in a location that's pretty much dead space anyway. Let's go get this thing done. Funny enough, I'm using a ram mount to hold my camera for this video. Okay, so this mod is for specifically my 2006 Toyota Tundra. Your mileage may vary depending on your rig. I think the Tacomas are pretty much the same as this, but here's a location that we're gonna be mounting this ram ball mount. Now, if you take this little cover and just grab it with your finger, it'll pull out. You can set that aside, and in there you're gonna have a little Torx bit socket. This is a T30, I believe, and you're just gonna wanna take that out of its home. There you go, that's the little torque head bolt that comes out of the Tundra. My recommendation is that if you're not doing this on a Tundra and you have a Dodge or something else that has this grab handle here, take this out, just run to the hardware store, True Value, Ace, whatever it is, one of those smaller guys usually have the best hardware selection, and try to figure out the exact bolt size that you're gonna need by using one of their guides there. For this truck, it's an M6 bolt by 1.0 thread pitch, and that's what I have right here in this socket head bolt that's going to go in through this ram ball mount. I will link everything I used in this video in the description section below. Definitely, I really appreciate it when you guys follow those links over to Amazon. I get a little bit of an affiliate bump, so, you know, a couple bucks a month or whatever to help me buy new things and try out new mods and try out new gear, so that's always appreciated. So the M6 bolt that I went with for this is, I believe, a 50mm long, and that's basically from the bottom of the head down to where the threads end here. It might actually be just fine to do this with a 55 or a 60mm. You might just have to add some washers to kind of space it out a little bit, but that could be a really good thing in the long run because you'll get just even more purchase on the threads. What you want to do is take your bolt and drop it in the head of your ram mount there. Standard nut right there that I'm going to bring all the way to the top of this. I think this is a 5mm head right here. 10mm wrench. Now, the reason you go with a bolt that's honestly, you know, quite a bit longer than this standard bolt that comes out of it is because you want to space it out a little bit from the face of this so that you can get your ram mount ball on there and be able to rotate around quite a bit without it coming into contact severely with the grab handle itself. What I'm going to do to space it out just a little bit more is I'm going to add a little locking washer here along with another nut. And that gave me a nice little bump out there. Now all you gotta do is make sure you're lined up and thread this guy into place. Tighten it down, giving it a reasonable amount of force, and there you have it. Your ram ball mount is attached right there. Just wanted to pop in here for a quick note. I actually ended up trading out my 50mm long bolt with a 55mm, and the reason for that is I was getting some binding between the ram mount itself hitting the plastic material around the edge of the handle here. It was coming in contact with that. Basically going with a 55mm rather than the 50, and I also threw a couple of washers on there just to bump it out a little bit more. Gives you a little bit more purchase on the thread and a little bit more wiggle room around the outside of the grab handle and the ball. So this is the way I would go. Link in the description section below. Now, Ram mates a bunch of different double socket end little attachments, and this is for going from one ram ball mount to another one for like their X grip right here. This is a little shorty guy. This is their medium sized, I think, and then here's a long guy. And then they even make things like this that have just articulating different elbows and angles and all that kind of stuff. Basically, they make something that's going to give you a connection point to mount mount up almost anything you could think of. I honestly recommend grabbing a couple different components of theirs and just playing around with the stuff, because there's no shortage of things that you can use these things for. I think I'm gonna take this medium-sized socket here and throw it on the one end. And then this is their X grip, and it's kind of a generic catch-all for phone holders. They also have specific phone holders for specific phones. They'll usually, I think they release, you know, the newest one for the newest iPhone and all that kind of stuff, of course. Flip it around, tighten it down, and install whatever you're trying to hold. All right, yeah, that's looking pretty damn good. I really like that. It's sturdy, it's definitely not going anywhere. That's nice, it doesn't get in the way of my steering wheel. I think I'll probably run a power cable from here down underneath my bed mat, or I guess I could go along this to a plug-in somewhere. And it's not really gonna be in my line of sight, getting in the way of, you know, merging vehicles or anything like that. Yeah, a little bit this way, but I'm not gonna worry about that. I just don't think that's gonna really get in the way of anything. I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily put my phone over here. I typically use one of these Ram suction cup mounts over towards the center, actually right where the camera's mounted. And I use this just because I'm right-handed and I really like the ease of use over there, but honestly, after having this here, I might play around with it for a little bit. Now, my idea for putting this up here is, like I said before, it's just unutilized space a little bit. And if you wanted to, I think you could run, you know, an old phone as your GPS unit. Yeah, it's not gonna be the biggest screen in the world, but it would be pretty much perfect for just being able to monitor things and play around with routes and all that kind of stuff really close to your face. So you could definitely turn that sideways and do that. Now, another thing that I've thought about mounting up here, my Garmin little mini inReach. They make a RAM mount that fits into the spine of the Garmin inReach Mini, which is super sweet. I'm sure they make that same mount that fits into the spine of the full-size Garmins as well. And this is just my little emergency spot device. It works for, you know, letting your loved ones know where you're at if you set it up that way, or, you know, as an SOS beacon if something catastrophic happens. So having that there would be really nice reminder to maybe grab it with me whenever I'm going away from the truck. And what I've also thought about, which I haven't necessarily seen, is, and I'm sure they've got to make it, would be a radio receiver, little push to talk, where you grab that, say what you need to do on the radio and put it back. I'm gonna look around online and see if that might be something available from RAM mounts as well. I told you this is gonna be a quick mod. I'm gonna really look forward to playing around with various configurations of what electrical component I put in that location in the weeks to come. One thing I want to say, and a little bit of word of caution, I bought a second one of these things to throw over on the passenger side of the vehicle for the passenger to have a phone holder. When I installed it, I realized that in the location it would be positioning the phone out within a direct line path of where the airbags would come out of the dashboard in a collision. And I just decided against that because I thought it would be pretty hazardous to have a cell phone flying at you as fast as that airbag would want to push it. Take a look at where your airbags come out for sure and identify for yourself if you think it's going to be mounted in a hazardous location. It's just not worth it. There's other options. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you got something out of it, please mash that like button to let me know I've done a good job. You can hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when I put out a new video weekly. Throw a comment in the comment section below. I love interacting with you guys, answering questions, forming that community around this channel. Definitely check down in the description section to links to everything I used in this video. And if you want to follow me a little bit more, you can hit me up over on Instagram at EvergreenOverland, as well as evergreenoverland.com. Have a good day.